Discussion as a teaching method means a more open kind of teaching, and it also means a more student-centered teaching method. You can use discussions for many different purposes. Perhaps you want to discuss an article at length with your students, or perhaps you want to use a discussion to vision or brainstorm around a certain topic. If you're a new teacher, I suggest you start with a more structured discussion. Give the students a certain material to read and give them questions to think about while reading that material. This way, you can prepare for the discussion and there will be clear learning goals, and the students will most likely feel like they have learned quite a lot through these discussions. A more open kind of discussion means that the questions or comments from the students can guide the discussion. But if you choose this path, it's important to remember that in every group there will always be a number of students who actively participate and even want to influence the discussion and the course of the discussion. But for you as a teacher, it's important to invite everyone present to take part in the discussion. The key to a good discussion is trust between everyone taking part in that discussion. As a teacher, you need to take care how you respond to your students and how you react to comments or questions from your students. It should be a given that you should never laugh at your students or ridicule them. Any question from a student is valuable, and you should treat it as such. Through the questions of your students, you realize quickly if the content is perhaps too difficult, if it's unclear what they're supposed to do, if the course structure is proving to be a struggle for them. You can work in many different ways with the questions from your students. And that's why I think every question is valuable. And they force us as teachers to look at what we're doing, what we're saying, and change. I like to get my students talking immediately as a way to make them feel included in the discussion. And if it's in the beginning of the course, I usually ask them to reflect upon what they want to learn or what their expectations are, so that they don't only give us their name. This is one way to get to know your students and for the students to get to know each other. If we're further along in the course, I usually have assignments for every seminar, and I expect every participant to present something. That's another way to get everyone talking and to include everyone. In a discussion, you probably want your students to interact with each other, not only with you. And a good way to do this is to hand any comment or question from a student over to the other participants and let them reflect and respond to the comment or question. Later on, you can take the time to challenge the students and to ask them to refine their arguments if you feel like they need to be refined. The good thing about a discussion is that students are able to listen to different perspectives, but they can also change their own perspective through them.